Hey folks, Tom Norfleet with www.citizenshipquickly.com. We show people how to get their taxes to zero, close to zero, no matter which country that you are from in the world. And we work with you, and all these methods are legal that we work on. Wanted to talk to you about something that can save you a lot of money, and you ought to teach your children this too. It's in purchasing a car. Other than your house, probably the most expensive thing that most people buy that they end up spending money on is a car, whether it's your first car, second car, third car. You should be buying cars if you're doing it for investment purposes. Some people buy cars and they don't care if they throw money out the window. These are people who are savvy people that I'm talking to here that are interested in making a car an investment, okay? The way you do it, first of all, don't buy new cars. You're always going to lose on new cars. Okay, so you can, in fact, if you want a guaranteed 20% loss on investment, buy a new car. You're guaranteed to lose 20% on that investment, guaranteed. So if you want a guaranteed investment where you're going to lose 20% that day, purchase a new car. That's, in fact, if you want even a worse rate of return than that, finance the new car. Okay, because you can add together the financing charge is going to go down a rat hole on top of your car itself. Okay, so the only thing worse than buying a car new is financing it. Okay, and instead of paying cash. Let me tell you why. When you take it off the lot, it can look the same 5 seconds later as soon as you get off the lot. But try to go back in and sell the car. You'll get about 20% less for the car. What you'll find out is cars typically take about 8 to 10 years for almost all the depreciation to occur. Now, some cars actually, after a long period of time, we're looking at maybe 25, 30, 40 years, can actually do the opposite, start going up. But also your parts are going to be higher too and harder to find. We're talking about like antique type cars. So, these are options you can look at. If you're going to get a car that's either an antique type car that's depreciated for many, many years and try to get it at a real good deal, or get a car that's 8 to 10 years old. Okay, if you get it 8 to 10 years old, you'll see the car probably depreciate anywhere from about, most of the time it's about 80%, give or take, right in there. And most of your appreciation is gone. Okay, unless your car is wrecked, it's not going to depreciate down to zero, even if it's 40 years old. In fact, like I said, some cars that get to be 40 years old, they'll actually start swinging back the other direction. But you're going to have to put up with the headaches of finding parts that will go in that car. And then some cars don't appreciate after 40 and 50 years. It depends on the type of car that you're looking at. You can get Hondas that are, 40 years old and, they haven't done a lot. Now you can get a Karmann Ghia or an Austin Healey or certain types of Porsches and other type cars, Corvettes, that have gone up. But remember, those parts are going to be more expensive too as that turnaround, when you're hitting the 40, 50-year mark, those parts are going to be a lot higher too. So you're going to have to look, is that rate of return really that good, since those parts that you're replacing are real high, and also depreciates too if that car is not in mint shape, if it's an antique car. Your best deal really, I have found out, is buying a car that's 8 to 10 years old. And look at getting a car with low mileage. That's the key, because what ages the car so much is not the years, it's how much you drove it, and that's shown up in the mileage of the actual car. So what I try to do, and I'll give you an example of something you can do, and you'd have to look this at in the country that you're in, but I'll give you an example in the Caribbean. If you're buying a car, you can get cars from Japan. Japan has real strict laws that they have to get rid of cars, and you can only carry them for a certain time period. So you can get cars that are actually pretty old with low mileage, and the reason is a lot of Japanese don't drive to work. They use a lot of local transportation. Even if they have a car. So you can get a car that's literally 10 years old with 20,000 miles on it. I know, because I bought one for that. You can buy them for as low as $300 or $400 US bucks. Now, I know you're hearing this and you're thinking, no, it's not. Well, hear me out. You can get them for that price. Now, there are things you have to add to that price. Okay, when I get something shipped into St. Kitts, now it's going to be different maybe where you're at because of the import duties and VAT could be totally different. But the way it works is when I buy a car in St. Kitts, and I'll give you the name of the actual dealer is JapaneseVehicles.com. That's the name of it. And you can pull up the cars. They'll show you, if you get a car, your best deal, they have ratings 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Don't go below a 4 rating. 5 is like in mint shape, doesn't have anything wrong with it, but you're going to end up paying a lot more for it. Your best deal as far as cost and condition would be a level 4 rating. You can get that car generally, stick with cars that are at least, I would say 8 to 10 years old, and you'll be buying it close to around 80% off what, that car was originally sold for. I mean, that's how much they drop. But this is the key. Most of the depreciation is gone. So I've had cars, in fact, almost every single car I get, I can resell it for more than what I paid for it. But now hear me out. This is not the end of the story on the cost. That $400 car, by the time you bring it in, it goes to the U.S. first, and then you have the shipping cost. You also have, if it's over 10 years old, you have environmental duty on that as far as St. Kitts goes. Other countries don't have that. If it's over 2 years old, you have environmental duty. But you're looking at, by the time you bring the car in, it's about $6,900 US, because they have a huge duty when you bring it in. And then they multiply that, that factor, because they have a VAT and the duty on top. So you're looking at $6,900, but you're talking about a car with 20,000 miles on it, okay? And every one of those cars that I have bought, I've been able to sell them for around $2,000 US, $1,500 more than what I paid for them. Every case I can sell them for more. And that's after 5-6 years after driving them. And tell me how many people out there who've bought used cars, driven them for several years, and then resold them for actually at a better price than what they bought them for. You can't do that with a new car. You can't do it with cars that are 2 years old. You need to let it go about 8 to 10 years out. If you have a question or comment, put it below. Also, if you want to hit the subscribe button to the right of your screen, if you hit that, you'll get new videos as they come out. Also, if you want to get your taxes to zero or close to zero, visit our website, get some help. We can show you how to do that. Look forward to talking to you on our next video. Take care. Bye.